Sorry we had no show yesterday. Wasn't feeling 100%. So we're back on schedule today. Excuse me. So we're on Bracha Stuff Mem Vav Amud Base. We are approximately 8 lines down. Mazutra. Incredible gemorah today. Let's go. Mazutra Ravashi. Mazutra went to the house of Ravashi. Israbei Milsa. Something bad happened in Mepharshim Spain. Someone passed away. Pasach Uborach. He started benching and he said, Hatoiv, God is kind, Vamativ, he's good to everyone. He himself is good, Vamativ, he's good to others. Kael Emes, the true God, Dayan Emes, the true judge, Shefet B'tzedek, he judges righteously. Lekach B'mishpat, he takes with mishpat. In other words, takes with mishpat, Shalid by Lamai, and he rules the world. B'mishpat meaning in judgment. He takes in with judgment, passes judgment. Shalid by Lamai, lasses by Kitzayna, to do what he wants, right? Do what he needs. He's in control. But Kikol Daracha Mishpat. Everything he does is mishpat. Say hello.
Hello.
Everything he does is justice. Shakol Shalai, everything is his. Vanachnu Amai, we are his people.
This
Va'avodav.
people.
You can say it, but you can't talk, okay? Vanachnu Amai Va'avodav, we're his servants. Okay, now you're bothering. You want to go to Mama?
No,
B'chol.
she's sleeping.
Okay, so be very quiet. And we have to be grateful to Hashem for everything. To bless
I
him.
want to say the word with you.
Guide the parts of Israel.
Guide the place is
You can't say the words with me, okay? It's bothering me. Guide the parts of Israel. He removes the princes of Israel, the things that are bothering us. The princes, he will fence in this prince that we have. L'chaim, for life. So that's what the nusach. That's what he said. That was the tefillah that Mazutra said in House of Ravashi. All right, interesting bracha, and we're talking about him Birchas Hamazon. Before the bracha, that was what he said. So nothing more asks. And so in other words, this is the fourth bracha in Birchas Hamazon. So he added this nusach, and this is the nusach that he's supposed to say in a base aval. This is a base aval, and he added this nusach in the base aval. Okay? You said you didn't meet the mother, right? Right? So what's going on over here? It happens to be machlekes. It's a machlekes. This is the nusach that we say in the base aval when you eat. And it's machlekes, big chiddush, the Rambam, Rif, the Bahag. You want to cut up that paper nicely for me, please? Cut up a picture of something.
Okay.
Cute. So the Rambam, Bahag, and Rif, they say, oh boy, they'll say that when you shouldn't say b'mishpat. Lokech b'mishpat. Hashem takes life b'mishpat in justice, in b'mishpat. In justice, in judgment. Sorry, that was all the point. In judgment, lekech b'mishpat. He takes life in judgment. They say we know there's many gemorahs that there's people die without sin. There's people that have no sins and they die. So why would you say that he takes in judgment? It's not always in judgment. Sometimes in judgment. Why should you say lekech b'mishpat? They take out this b'mishpat. Now there's a machlekes. It seems to be some type of machlekes in the Gemara, but we know that people die without sin. The Gemara talks about many people that died without sin. People never sinned. So how do they die? So Hashem takes b'mishpat, he takes without mishpat, without judgment. He just takes them for whatever reason. So Reb Chaim says you can't change the nusach. This is the nusach that they were misaken. So why would you change the nusach? You can't just change the nusach. You don't like it by mishpat. You can't change it. So it's b'mishpat. So according to Reb Chaim, what is b'mishpat doing? What's it achieving? He takes b'mishpat means you're being careful, Adi. So what does it mean b'mishpat? That even though it's judgment. It might not be judgment for this guy, but it's for a reason. Everything he does is for a reason. It's all balanced. There's a reason for everything. It's not just random. There's nothing random out there. There's some very good reason, which we have no idea why people die. So that's why we say b'mishpat.
A flower for you.
Wow.
Actually, it's for me and Mama Adi. I'm gonna cut a heart for you.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so back to Gemara. It says Gemara leheichen hu chayzer. Where does a guy return to? We're going to see in a minute. This is not such a simple question. Leheichen hu chayzer. Where does he return to? This guy's benching, and the guy that did the zimun, it's a machlokes. Does he say just the first thing? He says the first bracha. Where do you go back to? We're going to see exactly what we're talking about in a second. You go back to the beginning. You go to the beginning, you go to the place that you finished. So what are we talking about here? Take a look in Rashi. It's actually the fourth.
Here's a heart.
Can I have it?
Yes.
Rashi says, the fourth line in Rashi, or fifth narrow line in Rashi. Mishin stach lezimun, right? So we're talking about what's the case here? 3 people are eating, 2 guys on a bench, and the third guy's still eating. He's in the middle of his meal, so he has to stop in order that they can do the zimun. That's what the Gemara says. So the question is, now he stopped to do a zimun, then he carries on eating. Sits there, has another tuna sandwich. Where does he have to go bench from? He heard the zimun till Hazan, till the end of the first bracha. Does he now have to carry on from the end of the first bracha? Does he start from the second bracha? Or does he go back to the first bracha? That's the machlokes in the Gemara according to Rashi. The guy that stops the meal, partakes in the zimun.
This is for you.
Thank you. Partakes in the zimun. Then when he goes back to carry on, does he have to go back to the beginning, the first bracha, or does he carry on from after Hazan? Because you already heard the zimun. And according to this opinion, according to Shas, the zimun goes till Hazan. If the guy who does the zimun, he says the first bracha out loud, you know what I mean? You ate with the first bracha already. That's how Rashi understands. So let's see the Gemara inside. Where does he go from? The Mokum Shepasak. From where it ended up. From where they stopped. In other words, he carries on from the second bracha. Not to the beginning. He doesn't have to go back to the beginning. He carries on from the second bracha. Big machlekes. Take a look at Taisus. Leichen Chayzer. Taisus doesn't like this one bit. Taisus is very stark kasha. Sure. So Taisus says, take a look at Taisus, the second Taisus, Leichen Chayzer, Pirish Rashi, it's a bit dark in here, Pirish Rashi, one guy stopped, he's waiting for the other 2 to bench, now he carries on eating. Where does he carry on from? After he's eaten, now he's had a whole big meal, after the zimun, after they've done the zimun, he carries on eating. The Rabbanan say, no way, he carries on. He starts from the second bracha. Now he's benching. He's already done the first bracha. Carry on the second bracha.
But this is for you. But it's a triangle.
Oh wow, thank you. The Taisus asks, what? Imkein, hege hilchas
Abba, you can
pasuk.
sing this for Mama.
Thank you. Hege hilchas levakas pasuk. Achresh achal achach. She's doing yachza fil lazon. Lazon daraisa. Taisus asks, I don't understand. This guy, he just had a massive meal. Had a massive meal after the zimun. How can he now go ahead and skip the first bracha? The first bracha is daraisa. That's biblical. First bracha is biblical. How can he carry on from the second bracha? He just had a big meal now, and he's not going to make the brachas and wasn't daraisa on it. Now it's basic basis that you can't be yetzer. You can't say the bracha before he eats. You got to say the bracha after you eat. So how can he be saying? How can he have a whole meal? La lacha. This is how we do gemorah's paskening. The makish pasak. How can he eat a whole meal and do it be yetzer with the first blessing he made before he ate? That doesn't make sense. I guess according to Rashi, I didn't say no one saying this. According to Rashi, you got to say that the benching goes on the first bite you eat, maybe. It's over there, on the table. It's right in front of you. You don't see? Look, on the table. There. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so what does Taisus say? So Taisus doesn't like Rashi. He doesn't. That's not what the gemorah is talking about. It says Taisus. What are you left to say? This is going on in gemorah we had before. So what happens? The guy that's leading says, let's go ahead and bless Hashem. And everyone says, bless Hashem, right? And the V'tuv Chayino, we live in his kindness. So now, the guy that made the zimun, what does he now go ahead? Does he have to go ahead and recap what they said? The guy that starts the benching, after everyone's answered and said, blessed Hashem, we've eaten his good food, does he say, again, and that's what we do. That's how Taisus says. Means he's got to go ahead and say it over again. He says, you go ahead and bless Hashem, they bless Hashem, and then he's got to also go ahead and bless Hashem. That's how Taisus understands it. And the Rabbanan says, so that's how Taisus understands, with nothing to do with three people eating, one guy stops in the middle. Does he have to say the first bracha or not? It's only talking about the nusach. How do you say, what's the structure of the zimun? Does the guy who starts have to repeat afterwards again? V'haram me'ivra, I don't know where this ivra place is. Ibra, Pirash, it's a rare version of the barely see him in Taisus. So he says, we're talking, I'm not going to read it inside, I'll tell you outside. He says, and there's also Balamot says the same thing, that we're talking about a case we had before, three people eating, and one guy leaves the house, he hasn't benched yet, so they can still do zimun. He's going to have to bench, right? Obviously he has to bench, he has to thank Hashem, he ate, and he's left. So he leaves, and they scream from the window, Rabbi Sanivarech, and he answers, right? Now, till where does he now? Oh, so he has to hit a benching till Hazon. And then he comes back to the house 10 minutes later and he benches. So does he have to go back from Hazon, the second bracha, or he has to go back to the first bracha? Now, was he with the first bracha that the Nizaman did? Why is this better than Rashi's case? Because in Rashi's case, the guy's eating a whole meal after the first bracha. But in Kunta Balama'ar and Ram Ivra, he didn't eat. He went to the shuk. He bought some flowers and he came back. He didn't eat. In other words, can that be mitzvah? Because the first bracha that he had 10 minutes ago, does that connect to the second? The other three brachas that he says 10 minutes later, but there's no eating in the middle. Of course, if he eats in the middle, he's got to go ahead and say the first bracha again. But according to the Balamor, he didn't eat in the middle. He just went for a walk. He went to the shuk. He went out. He went to the garden. Right? So, is he Yaitzer with a thing? That places brings us pshat. It sounds like it makes the most. It makes a lot of sense. In the lotion of the gemorah, to me, it makes a lot of sense. All right, so back to the gemorah. I'm not. I'm not taking sides over here. Says the gemorah. Slight change of subject. Amalei reish galusul of Shas. I guess because we're talking about Shas still now, there's a new din of Shas. Avagav there about in Kashisha also, and even though you're a bunch of old rabbis, Lara Chachma, Pasai, the Persians, who we're having a bit of a rough time today with, they are bigger experts in how to act in a meal than you are. Why? So he explains. They used to eat lying down in beds. So what do? Godol Mesiv Barosh, B'Sheini L'Ma'ala Menu. So the Adam Godol, the guy who's the greater man, whatever that means, the bigger Talmud Chacham, the bigger rabbi, he lies on the bed. And the guy, the number two, L'Ma'ala Menu. So what does that mean? It's a bit of a machlekes, so we'll go with Rashi. Godol Mesiv B'Sheini L'Ma'ala Menu. So he's lying down. L'ma'ala menu means by his head. So for some reason the beds, I guess, all in one straight line or similar to straight line. He's lying on a bed eating, and the main guy. And the number two, he's by his head eating in that direction. So his feet are by his head. So if there's three, the main guy lies in the middle. The number two guy is to his left by his head, and the number three is towards his feet. Amalei, so he said to him, what? That's how they eat? How does that make sense? So if the middle guy, if the big rod, the important one, he now wants to go ahead and talk to number one, to number two. So he's got to sit up to talk to him. So some understand it means he's like behind him. So he's got to now go ahead and sit up to talk to him. I guess according to Rashi also, it's not convenient. You're lying down, his feet are by your head. You got to sit up to talk to him. How does that work? Why should you have to sit up? He's the big one. That's called the Persians are better than us. That's stupid. Why should you have to sit up to talk to them? The Persians are different. If the big guy wanted to talk to the small guy, he didn't talk to him. If they're eating, what did he do? He used sign language. They did some type of signals with their hands. The Persians were experts in sign language. Now you saw it first in the Gemara. Persians use sign language, and he would talk because he can't talk to him vocally. He's over there, but he'll do sign language. All right. Gemara says when you wash hands before the meal, for bread, right? You're washing hands for bread. Who washes first? You start with the number one. The godel, the greater one starts. So then what happens? Yoshev godel v'yishma yada v'achalekin kolan. So the Gemara asks, what? The father of the house, the main guy, he washes his hands first. Then he's got to sit there quietly. You're not allowed to talk. Can't do anything. Can't eat. Can't talk. He's got to sit there, wait till everyone comes to the table. How does that make sense? No, they immediately bring him bread. As soon as the Adam Gadol washes, they immediately bring him bread, and he can eat straight away. He doesn't have to wait. What about the Machronim? The water, the washing your hands after the meal, just to wash your hands. Excuse me.
I want to see myself.
I know. Here, it's ready.
Hello,
Sorry about this little
everybody.
distraction.
Hello, everybody. I'm ready. I'm Peppa Pig.
Hello. 1 minute. We'll be back in a second.
No.
Adi. I'm going to have to stop it. Hello? Hello? Then you're not going to get a treat afterwards. You didn't think of that before, did you?
Ow.
Like, see? You can't move it. Don't touch it. So,
We got a kept on this.
okay, we'll do it
one.
very fast. We're almost finished now. Okay? If you listen nicely, if you play nicely,
Can do on this hand.
you'll get a treat afterwards. Okay? You want a treat afterwards or not?
Can do on this hand.
Adi. Oh, yeah. Can you not do it? I don't think so. Go to the couch. Go to the couch right now.
No, I'm cutting from this big heart for you.
Okay.
I'm trying to cut this for you.
Really? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Okay, so sorry about that. Just be up in the middle of the night with sirens, and that's why I'm stuck at home. And whatever, long night. So, my Achronim, who washes first in my Achronim? The water after the meal, washing hands after the meal. Cotton. You know who washes first? The cotton. The small guy, he washes first. You know, you start with the cotton. You don't start with the gadol from my Achronim.
Here.
So what? I don't understand. The rabbi, the big one, his hands are sitting there dirty, and he's got to wait there until everyone else washes hands. He's sitting there with dirty hands. How does that make sense? The small guy washes first.
Okay.
So how does that work? So gemorah answers. They do not take the bread away from the Adam Gadol until he's washed his hands. In other words, the smaller guy starts washing first. They take away the bread from everyone as they wash their hands. And once the big rabbi washes his hands, then they take away the bread from him. They don't take the bread till he's washed his hands. So he doesn't have to sit there with dirty hands not doing anything. I know this from the Mishnah, the Tanya. Okay, so the Mishnah says, how do you wash? Sorry, what's the Seder, what's the order of leaning? There's two beds, there's two beds, the big guy on the right, and the small guy below him. There's three beds, the big one is in the middle, the second is to his head, and the third one's by his feet. The Brisa says, you start with washing hands before the meal, you start with the Adam Gadol. The water after the meal, so this is a bit complicated. There's mentioned, if there's 5 people, you start with the Adam Gadol. There's 5 people, the Adam Gadol washes first. There's Manshahim, Mayob, if there's a ton of people, 100 people, more than 5, what happens? You start with the smallest, he washes first, until you get to the last 5. When you get to the last 5, when you get to the last 5, then the Adam Gadol, the big one, is the one that washes first. The place where you wash my Achronim, whoever washes first, in other words, the one, the Adam Gadol, Sham bracha chazeres, he does the bracha. Messiah, the Rav, says, this Brisa sounds like Rav. The one who washes my Achronim first, He does Berachas Hamazon. Whoever washes my Chaim first, he does Berachas Hamazon. In other words, that's the Adam Gadol, the greatest one. Rav and Chia, we had this story before a couple of times even. Rav and Chia, they were sitting with Rebbe. He saw before that Rav learned by Rebbe. Rav was a Talmud of Rebbe, the author of the Mishnah. Amalei, Rebbe, the Rav. So Rebbe turned to Rav and says, Kum, mash yadech, go wash your hands. So Chazid the Kamisus, his friend saw that he was shaking. They thought he meant Amalei, Bapachsi, he was shaking. He thought he meant that you've eaten enough. So the gemorah says that, the Mishnah actually says that Rebbe was so rich that he had on his table every delicacy that you could imagine. Rebbe himself didn't even eat that. It's baktana, a finger. He didn't have a chip, or 2 chips. But his table was full of every delicacy. So Rav came to the table, I guess, I don't know what. He told him, go wash your hands. And he thought like, whoa, Rebbe saw that I'm eating too much. He's giving me musa. He was shaking. But Amalei, he said to him, he's telling you to wash your hands because you're great and you should bench. I guess this is a tremendous call. Go wash your hands. He felt the Rav was great and he should bench. Okay, we'll end the gemorah over here. Thank you very, very much for listening and putting up with all the shenanigans. I do apologize. Hopefully tomorrow we will give shir tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem, and we shouldn't have any distractions, hopefully. Bye.